Hi everybody, welcome back to Stories with A.G. Flitcher. Me. Well, my name's Andre, but you know that, right? Anyway, for the next 3 videos, I will be talking about one experience in my life, which was my first girlfriend. I learned so much from that relationship that I just can't cover everything in one video. So this first one will be about the red flags that I should have noticed at that time and ended the relationship and not gone back to the same person, because we broke up twice. I was so desperate about being in a relationship and not wanting to, have to put myself out there for another woman. I wanted to just have this one relationship, do my best to make it work, and just be with her and hope that things work out. But that is not the case. Nope. Not at all. Holy crap that I go through a lot in that relationship. So, I won't divulge everything because I don't want to give you and myself too many nightmares. I don't want to keep reliving that. But I will discuss the important things, or at least the more poignant parts of the relationship that terrified me. Not anymore, but it did haunt me for a couple of years. Okay, so the first red flag is that although we were both innocent, she had a lot more innocence to outgrow compared to me. For example, I was the only one who had a driver's license and drove since I was 16. She was 23 and never drove. I think so. Yeah, she didn't have a driver's license either. She always had someone to chauffeur her around and always took the bus. And that's fine. If you don't want to drive, that's your choice. But for me, when it comes to dating, driving is an essential and important thing for me, because what if there is an emergency where I'm in a car accident, or I was walking down the street and someone knocked me out and I need someone to come and get me. You can't just like if I end up in the hospital, what was she gonna do? Say, hey babe, I'm gonna be there in a couple hours because I have to take the bus is late, blah blah blah. It's like, well, what if I needed you to drive me to the hospital or anywhere? Like, what if I was injured at work or something? What, I'm gonna wait for this woman to take the bus to get to me? It just doesn't work for me. If some people, it's okay, they're okay with having just one driver in the relationship or the family, and that's, that's their choice, not mine. So that was the first one. The second one was, she was a very destructive person, self-destructive, and she even admitted to it. So that's why I was accepting of that part of her, because I knew that it meant that if she's admitting to it, she wanted to grow from it. So when we first broke up, she told me that she threw her phone across the room and smashed the crap out of it, and basically lied about me to her family, calling me names, and I did this, that, basically gave me a bad name. And that when we got back together, when I met her family for real, she warned me about that, and that they may see me as a jerk or a monster because of her exaggerations. And if you're watching this, I'm just telling you what I remember. If I remember wrong, you're free to correct me. I have no shame in being wrong. I'm just telling my side of the story. Doesn't mean it's right, doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just my side of the story. Third flag was when things really became insane. And I mean to the point where I was finally becoming aware of what was happening. So, before I say this, before we got back together, I talked to my mom. May she rest in peace. She said, because I was telling her I want to get back with this person, she said, well, Andre, it's your choice. if you feel that this relationship can really succeed and do better this time around, go ahead. So I got my mom's blessing and I gave it a shot. I came to this girlfriend of mine with flowers and said sorry, blah blah blah. But it was worse the second time around. So this third flag I'm about to tell you is when she became too attached, a little too needy for my taste. Because one day, 2 months into the relationship, and I mean for the second go around, she texted me, and I thought she was just joking or being suggestive. She says in a text message, "What would you say if I asked you to marry me?" I thought she was just testing my loyalty and commitment to the relationship, which is why I was fine with answering calmly and honestly. And so I responded by saying, I think you're being crazy, and no. Relationships take time. If we're going to get married, that's going to be like 2 years down the road, minimum. She's like, "Are you serious? You're going to say no to a woman proposing to you?" And I was like, hold on. You're being serious? Okay. Now, I thought I was going to run, but I knew that I had to take a breath, and then the next day I saw her, I said, "I understand that you love me, and I do love you, but that was too much for me. Please don't bring up marriage until we are ready to discuss it and take that step in our relationship." And she said, "Okay." A day later, we're driving somewhere, and she's like, "I know you said you don't want to talk about marriage, but can we?" I'm like, oh my god. So that fizzled out for a bit. And the next one, it's not really a red flag, it's more like, seriously? Okay. So, I'm not going to get too detailed or graphic about this, but she was taking birth control to regulate her time of the month. And she wasn't aware of the change that would do to her regulation of that time of the month. So, because I had no idea what was going on this day, I felt really dumb. Okay? I'm admitting to being ignorant to biology. But she was too, because she had no idea either. So she was lying on the couch behind me, thinking she was sick. And I thought she was too. I was like, "Oh no, what's wrong? What happened? What's happening?" And then we found out later that she just had her time of the month. It was just because of the birth control, it just kind of jostled her body's chemistry and timing for that part of her biology. So I just wish that she was a bit more educated. So anyway, the last red flag was I don't want to share too much about this because it's not PG. What I'll tell you though is she tried to force me to have a kid with her. Okay? I'm not going to tell you how. It was just horrifying. If you have questions about it, I can tell you in private, in the comments or whatever, but I don't want to say that on camera. When that situation was over, I asked her, "What the hell was that? Why would you try and do that to me? Neither of us has money. Neither of us has their own place. You barely work. You don't have a driver's license. How are we supposed to have a family when we've barely been dating and neither of us is financially secure? We can't even fend for ourselves. How is this supposed to work?" She's like, "Well, my parents can help us." I'm like, I don't want help from anyone when it comes to raising a family. At least not to the level that she was saying, where like we're both working and then the parents do all the babysitting. It's like, well, it's your child. You're supposed to be taking care of it. I get that people have busy lives and that's why they have a nanny, and if they want to go on a date night, that's fine, but that's like every now and then. She was more like all the time. So it just freaked me out. That's really it. I just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for that, but she was. And she kept excusing herself, saying that she had baby fever during a Easter dinner that we went to for her family. So, I think it was like a week or two after that I broke up with her. And I'll end the video with that day. So, I'm gonna admit, I was a real coward when it came to breaking up with her, because I did it through text, which is really impersonal, really cowardly, and really immature. I mean, I should have, tried to be more brave about it, be more honest and caring, because if you really love someone and you know that you really care about them and you have to break up with them, you have to do it in person. It just makes sense. It's the fair and honest thing to do. But I wasn't brave enough at that time. So, if you're watching, I apologize for the way I handled things. I could have done a much better job with our breakup. So I apologize for that sincerely. So, because she was wanting me back so much, she would message me from all over the place and called me at midnight trying to get me to talk to her and see her. So she would do things like say that I owe her father money for the repairs he did on my car. So I said, okay, that's fair. So I just got her address and mailed him the money, because I was too pathetic and cowardly to go to her house to do that. I didn't want to see her. I was too afraid to confront that, confront the reality of what I did and how I can move on from that. So she kept sending me these long messages on Facebook for us fighting for a relationship and making it work kind of thing, and I just didn't really engage in that. So I said, let's just put an end to this. I'll bring you the stuff that belongs to you, and then you bring me my stuff. And so she said, well, I'll leave your stuff in a bag on my front door, and then you can bring me my stuff. So I said, okay, fair enough. So I take a bag, I put all her stuff in there, and my father went with me. I was about 23 at the time, and so was she. Or no, she was 23, I was a bit older. Anyway, we drive to her house, and we see the stuff at the front door, and blinds were closed, but I'm pretty sure she's watching. So I run out of the car, and I was so scared about her actions that I freaking Indiana Jones did, where I switched the bags like that and took the stuff, ran to the truck, tossed the bag in, jumped into the passenger seat, and we took off. So yeah, she messaged me a little bit after that, and I had nightmares for a while because she told me this recurring dream she used to have. This is what really scared me when I was thinking about one of the other red flags I missed at the beginning of making this video. This recurring dream involved her and her mom, and it was her staring down at her mom's dead corpse and laughing maniacally. And I mean, like, yeah, you're dead! And I was just like, okay, why am I with you still? Yeah. Hopefully I didn't break your speakers when I did that laugh. But that's how insane I saw her. Okay. I think that will be it for part 1. In part 2, I will tell you about what I learned from that relationship and how it changed me, not just emotionally and my approach to dating, but also knowing what I want out of a relationship. So I hope you found that video entertaining, and I hope you have a good day. Alright. Bye-bye. Happy reading.